I don't know if you want to do that for a Lich. Just feels like, yeah, he had a great game. It was good with the Marcy, but there are other premium bans to have out there. Like Treant Protector would be a better 5 to ban in most situations,
Yeah.
rather than I'm not. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not really thinking that the Lich deserves a ban, but maybe MAG will think like, you know what? Yeah, he's too good. Let's just take it away from him.
Yeah, it could be. Well, they are giving, some consideration to this last ban, and it's actually going to be the Death Prophet. Okay, so at least Bok's going to be forced onto a new hero this game. And we'll see what Myth Avenue have got in mind here, picking up for their third hero. You would assume it's going to be their POS 5, which... Yeah.
I mean, they could. At this point, you kind of revealed that it's going to be the Rubik, and they go with the Crystal Maiden. All right, there you go. So another bit of catch for the Ember Spirit with the Frostbite. And also not that bad against the Marcy, right? Frostbite is also solid against her. They pick out the Morphling. So Marcy is going to be box hero. They compare it up with the Phoenix, who is a fantastic Morphling counter in general. And you look at Myth Avenue Gaming, you're like, hey, guys, you guys got any egg hitters? You're going to need one. And the pick phase is instant nearly in this. Like, they get the Crystal Maiden Ursa, powerful lane, great with the Magnus as well, and it's fantastic against the Phoenix. So, I'm liking what Myth Avenue's got so far.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're ticking a few more boxes than last time, which is definitely what they needed to sort of help balance this game out. So, looks like, Myth Avenue looking for their mid laner last, whilst Polaris looking for their position 3.
Possibly,
unless they're going to run
right?
like an off-lane Marcy or something like that. I don't know, like position 3 Marcy.
Yeah. Let's see. Wait, does Polaris play it? Bog does play some off-lane Marcy, but it's not one of his most picked heroes. So, and we have, it's like it has to be the Ember Spirit mid, right? Like we sometimes see Morphling go mid, but it has to sort of be the Ember Spirit mid in this situation. So Morphling has to go carry. So is it going to be the Bog? Is it going to be the Marcy 4 or is it going to be the Marcy 3? I generally prefer Phoenix to be played as a 5. I think the hero can do a lot of work without any items anyway, so you might as well just put it in the 5 and you'll be fine. So we'll see. Yeah. And Myth Abbey, though, they do believe it's going to be the Marcy 4 because they get rid of the Viper.
Yeah, okay, that's quite interesting. But, I guess they might, do like a ban of both. So they'll ban 1-3 and they'll ban potentially a support as well. Like, they could not be sure themselves, just want to sort of cover all their bases. You just never know really where the draft could end up. But yeah, like you were saying, Phoenix, you don't generally need items on him. Like, most of the time it's all about position. Where you are when you drop that egg is going to be the key factor in the game. Like, put it in wrong spot, you're dead in 2 seconds and you're completely negated. But yeah, you don't need any items when you just press that R button.
Polaris, we'll see what they pick. But I'm looking at XZealer and I'm wondering what hero he's going to go for. I wonder if he's going to go for the Sniper. There is... Sniper's in the pool and Tusk is in the pool. But his Bat Rider's gone. Leshrac is in the pool, but I'm not loving the Leshrac in this particular game. I do think that later on you're going to have problems. Ember Spirit's taken. Plus, so they go with the Visage. Okay, so it is going to be the position for Marcy or position 5 Marcy. Either way, it's like it doesn't really matter too much here. But Myth Avenue, I feel like I like the Sniper pick quite a lot for the mid lane. Yeah, you're going to go with the same problem game 1 of having an Ursa and a Sniper, but I think that Sniper will be able to help the team quite a bit. Pango's gone, Bat Rider's gone, Ember Spirit, Puck is gone. So it leaves Sniper, Tusk, Leshrac. Don't like Leshrac.
Yeah, the Sniper would lane quite nicely versus the Ember. Obviously, you keep your distance and harass away. The only thing is that you're quite susceptible to being ganked. So if the Marcy decides to roam on in, the Sniper is pretty much just completely open to die, unless there's going to be like some on-point TP responses coming out from the supports of Myth Avenue to help provide that support. Yeah, that is the one benefit of a support Marcy, is that the ability to roam is just always prevalent, and you've got to be careful of that.
True, you're making a good point, right? Like, that's the problem with Snipers, that you look at it, you're like, you have Phoenix diving in, you have a waveform, you have Eminence, and you have Marcy's rebound, so it's like there is a lot of catch. So maybe you don't want the Sniper. There's a Zeus you could go for. They go with in the end. They go for the Tusk. All right, it's just like I said. It's like Tusk, Sniper, Lash are the heroes that he plays a lot, and he goes for the Tusk to make space for his team, fully relying on Miracle to win the game for them.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see how this pick ends up panning out. Should have a fine time versus the Ember still in the mid lane. Like probably just go equal in CS, I'd assume. I feel like that's sort of going to be the case of most of the side lanes. Obviously, I feel like the Visage, every time I see a Visage, there's always that potential of a kill threat because the Spirit Siphon, not Spirit Siphon, sorry, the what's his W?
Assumption.
Soul Assumption, that's the one. Like, that always has the ability to just burst people down in seconds, so you've got to be careful about where you are on that one. Especially against a hero like a Crystal Maiden, who is just... She's just pure squish. That's all she is. She's only squishy.
No, it's fine. We'll see the 3 fluffy hat into infused drain drop build. Like, that'll be enough to keep you alive, but... you're right. It's gonna be quite a. But I mean, you got the Crystal Maiden Ursa. Like that's a lot of slows. It's a lot of damage. You are gonna be up against the Visage, who you might be rebounded. You might just be thrown off, disposed to safety. But either way, I'm liking Myth Avenue's gaming the top lane. Mid's gonna be the Tusk who can make space. Bottom lane, you have the team fight. I don't know if I think they're gonna take the game though. To be honest with you, like it's tough. How about you? What do you think? Give me time to think. Which team do you lean on?
I think at the moment, oh God, it's so hard to tell most of the time. You just end up putting yourself in a real corner. But I feel like after the way that Polaris played in that first game, they're going to have the edge of just momentum coming out of it. You can have the better mindset. And I can see what their draft is trying to accomplish. Like the Morphling can get unstoppable. I think for them it's going to depend whether if the Ember has a fine top. Like if Mac wins mid lane and he's able to just make his presence known throughout the map, then I can see Polaris is running away with this one. But like you were saying, that just the draft in general from Avenue Gaming, like it feels a bit more versatile. They've got more damage output, more potential for like catch. So yeah, draft perspective, I'm feeling Avenue. In a game perspective, I'm feeling Polaris. So, Lord knows what that says.
All right.
Yeah, sort of on the fence.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go with Polaris. I mean, they seem like they seem like the team to go for in this situation. I like their draft a little as well. W Gaming, one thing about the mags though, you have such a long cooldown between your ultimates that you can get like ran over in between, and if you need to land them, right? Like once you get the RP ready, you actually have to land decent RPs to help your team out. So it can be a bit risky for them. So I'm gonna go with Plus. I think their lineup should be fairly easy to play and win with.
Yeah. That's very true. Do you think it's going to be another Blink Dagger rush, like coming out from the Magnus, or like the more standard, well, the old classic of going for like, Guardian Greaves or something like that?
I prefer the Guardian Greaves build just because if you put everything into the Blink Dagger and you fail with it, it feels terrible, right? Like you blink in, you're like, guys, don't worry. 17 minutes, I got my Blink Dagger, I'm going to land big one, then you jump in or you get like caught right before you're about to throw it, and that's just the worst thing ever. So I would imagine you want to go through a Guardian Greaves. It's the safer option. It's lower risk, probably lower reward as well, but much lower risk as well.
Yeah, so sometimes playing it safe is just better than playing it greedy. There's been too many times, greed is feed, the classic line of Dota 2, and it is always going to be applicable. This little Observe Ward placed by Polaris in their jungle does spot a couple of people from Myth Avenue walking around, so you can see this is happening. And yeah, they're probably just going to put more people up towards the top, secure those 2 bounty runes instead. I mean, Miracle is actually on his own, but again, they see him with this ward. And they're sort of just not caring the fact that there's an Ursa there. And yeah, they just walk him away.
Yeah, you're an angry bear. What do we care? Just move. This is our lane now. One thing I'm looking at is that what is Rubik really interested in stealing this game? I mean, oh, look at that. Myth Avenue starting off with 3 bounties. Congratulations. That's a 400 gold advantage for your team, but yeah, what is exactly Rubik going to be stealing? Like, you obviously want to take the stats from Morphling at 1 point, so you can go full strength. You're very tanky. Phoenix, if you get the lasers, good. The egg is considered like nearly impossible to get the egg. It's like one of the hardest spells to catch, unless CML like messes up. Because oftentimes after you egg, you straight away press W. You egg in a massive area, so it's very difficult for them. Visage.
Yeah, if you can steal the familiars, that's quite nice.
Yeah, what if he steals them? He doesn't know how to play. And he's like, guys, how do I micro? I don't do that very often. It's not my thing. If he steals the Soul Assumption and the Remnant, those are these. But yeah, it's not like a Rubik game where you're like, oh my god, there's that. There's the Ice Path, the Fissure, the giant Ravage tied under Black Hole. There's like none of that. It's like, okay, there's Morphling attribute shift. That's kind of the best thing you can get.
Yeah, that is very true. And Selen did some nice damage onto Mac there in the mid. Just forced him to walk his way back. Yeah, actually talking about the Rubik, we did mention it, but that last game was its first loss this tournament.
But will it be its only loss of the day? Is the question.
Only loss, yeah, that could be. You never know. I'm sure Kishka wants to try and bring that win probability back to a more favourable standard. We shall see, though. We shall see.
Well, never be 100%. Oh, Jink, top lane?
Top, yeah. Miracle taking a bit of a beating. Jink standing his ground. Ursabear's trying to get himself away. They got the Soul Summon back up. Do they get the vision for it, though? He's only got 2 charges, so he's going to have to sort of give up on that one. Instead, though, Jing just getting slowly brought down, trying to stand his ground as best he possibly can. Just a couple more mana left for the Crystal Maiden, and he can get off the freeze, but not before Bok takes down the Ursa, and first blood is found.
Dude, did he I think he disposed him while he was in midair. That's why I don't know if I don't think the Earthshock landed. Maybe you have a replay for it, but he disposed of, I think, mid-air, which means that the damage didn't land, and Jing plays it really well with that situation. So that's one of those interesting mechanics, those abilities that deal that have an impact when a person lands, like Snapfire's Cookie, Earthshock. It's like those dispose is fantastic against them. And top lane, they're going again.
Just don't stop going. So to use the power of Soul Summon, which he didn't actually take level 2. He decided to take 2 points into the Grave Chill. Is that stat? I thought it was always standard to just go for like max Soul Assumption.
No, as well, actually. Like I mean, Soul Assumption just has been it's always been something like 1-3-1. You know, like that's been the standard build. Sometimes you skip Grave Creepers, but you almost always max out Soul Assumption. So that is interesting. He's going to go for it that way, but. To be fair, the guy probably, the guy knows his hero. And if Bok's playing, I'm not gonna question him. And then can you imagine Crystal Maiden getting even more slowed? Like, come on.
Yeah. I suppose really the only sort of main change is the fact that you get like an extra charge. Actually, never mind. Jump misses there from Jing. Miracle tries to go on top of Bok as best as he can. Doesn't actually have the mana for one more Soul Assumption. And it looks like Myth Avenue going to be able to start taking control of this top lane right now. Bok is trapped in the trees. The Maiden just brings him down on her own. And that is another kill there for Myth Avenue. Oh, unfortunately for Miracle, it is his position 5 who is getting all of these kills. So the Ursa Bear isn't getting super fat, but at the end of the day, it is space that he can work with.
Yeah, I mean anything that gets Bok away from the lane, because but Bok actually has got the lowest CS in the game right now, and that's probably a bit of an issue right now when you're playing against the Ursa. He's got Quelling Blaze, melee, and Visage's attack animation is kind of awkward, honestly. It's like this big, slow moving projectile. It's not the best. Mid lane, Exila and Mac.
Oh, yeah,
they're
back
trading
at the top. Miracle go once again. Jing, he tried over accepting his bounce. Actually jumping in aggressively. I thought he was going to try and retreat there. Wanted to take down Ursa if he can. One more right click is all Bok's going to need, and he does manage to find it. It's the Ursa dead yet again. And Vincenzo, I think he was thinking about trying to dive for another kill there onto Bok, get himself a killing spree. But has to go back. Meanwhile in the mids, the newly respawned Jing TPs to the mid lane, fills up the bottle, and now the Tusk's in some real danger. The leap is there. Going to drag him back in. And that's a Tusk dead. Again, just the supports are claiming pretty much all the kills this game.
And a great rotation by him. We could see that Exila, he had both his abilities on cooldown. He's going to reach level, he's level 5 now, but once he reaches level 6, we can expect to roam around the map. The question is, who do you actually kill? Right, if you're the Tusk, there's Phoenix. If you can get on top of him, you can burst him down. CML is he's a one armor hero on the Phoenix, but catching him with Icarus Dive is tough. Ember Spirit and Visage, Ember Spirit and Morphling are very difficult to get on top of. Visage is tanky, and even the Marcy has rebound. So it's not exactly an ideal Tusk game. There's no target that you can be like, yep, I'm gonna be able to eat this guy for lunch later on.
Yeah, it's very true. Not the easiest setup, but I'm sure he'll be trying his best. You see, level 6 actually already picked up from Ember. He's a full level ahead of Sizzlina at the moment. And yeah, just sort of getting bullied out as a result. I mean, if he gets any lower from a couple more of these slight fist spams, could potentially get brought down. Yeah, up top, another kill there onto the Crystal Maiden, but at least this time Miracle's able to get another kill. 2-2-2 is his score. That's going to help bump up his farm a nice little chunk as well. And yeah, whilst the Visage is dead, there's literally nothing that Jing can do to contest this Ursa. So it is just free CS until the Visage is back up.
Well, meanwhile, mid lane. Oh, there's a dive coming up from him, from Mac.
Able to get his ult off.
Oh.
And just zips straight back up towards the top. He's got a couple of hits coming in from the tower. Not enough to bring him down. And with a double damage rune.
He just bottled it while he was remnanting away. Like, that is insane. Speaking of insane, I think CML.
Kishka. Let's see, Mel does drop. Mac is desperate to at least try and get the kill onto this Rubik if he can. Double damage still activated. Slight fist up in a second. That's going to be a dead Tusk. Can they also get the +1 onto the Crystal Maiden? That they definitely can. So double kill picked up there for Mac. I mean, sure they do lose their support of the Phoenix, but that's a sacrifice they will gladly make.
Yeah, it's just a Phoenix. As long as you get level 6 and you get the egg off, you're gonna be fine. You want more than that, obviously, but like Phoenix can do so much just by pressing R. That's really how the hero works for them. And look at this gigantic stack that they have going on here. What is that? How many ancients is that? 4-4, I think. Looks like 4-4.
I think it's a quad. Yeah.
That is.
Okay, CML trying to go for a kill. He wants to maybe try and deny himself to the neutrals, perhaps. Not going to get that chance. And now here comes the creep camp steal away. Obviously 2 points into the fire spirits, but Mac. Okay, I guess he not actually that interested in killing the creeps just yet. Wants to just sort of sit himself in the mid lane.
That makes sense. He's already dominating the lane, and they know as long as they can see Ursa, they know that stack is safe, right? Like once the mid lane Mac, is he gonna be right? He's got it out. Yeah, as long as they while Ursa's in front of them, they're like, well, he's not taking the stack, so we don't really need to. Just like as long as we play around it, we're fine. And can they take it? You kind of need a couple of levels on the Phoenix. Maybe level 3 fire spirits would be nice. But apart from that, the rest of the team not amazing at taking out this giant stack. At least not yet. You know, like I'm just waiting to spam Flight of Fists with the Flame Guard on, but it's still gonna take a while. And here we go. Zeal, is he gonna farm it himself? Looks like it.
Yeah. No, better just someone claim the farm than to be sat there for an extra 5 minutes. I suppose he just wants to help bump up, get his first item online as quickly as possible. Actually, no, it looks like they're going to just transfer over towards the Tusk instead. Let him get knife and beefy. I mean, he has been punished a couple of times now in this mid lane, died 2 times in a row, but actually in comes Polaris. They're going to try and maybe get a free kill off the back of this. Too late to contest the creeps themselves. And Mac actually 0 points into the Siren chain, so no way of locking him down. Yeah, up top, Miracle. Getting involved on top of the Jing. Taking a lot of damage, but nice little stuns coming in from the Familiars to hold him back. Aggressive stun use again, but it missed there from Jing. That's going to cost him his life. In comes the Ember. Maybe they can get the cleanup kill onto the Ursa. That they will. Transferring over towards Vincenzo. The Maidens try their best to run away. TP in the trees. There's actually... Well, I was going to say there's no Siren chains, but those Familiar stuns just so damn useful.
Oh, poor guy. In the mid lane, though, CML, he gets caught in the Ice Shard and actually almost completes the dive, you know, going back to actually learn, but it's nice to think a bit of it. And yeah, both times we've seen Jing, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna jump in. Look, I'm making a mistake, and then he just baits them in. Like Mac loses his career by now. He's just chasing actually learn. He might be in trouble.
Oh, nice little dodge there with the snowball. Getting tossed back though. I don't think there's any way he can get himself out of this. The Rubik's not gonna be able to bring enough, or is he? Actually, he does. Just all those stick charges, giving the Tusk that little bit extra to survive. He does evade death this time.
I gotta say, level 1 Sunray is just the worst spell of the game. It does such abysmal damage. You know, it's like 14. It's like about 14 base damage and 1%. And that's 1% when it's like fully charged. I think it's like every second is like it increased by like 0.2. I mean, what the hell? So it is. Yeah, I was looking at. It's very terrible. He was like charging his laser. Excellent was like, is that? Well, I'm literally regenerating faster than this.
There's a little fight there for the bottom room, but Sizzling was able to clean it. Is that how you pronounce his name again?
I mean, I say XC learn, like X S and then learn. I don't know. Like how do you pronounce the guy's name? You know, it's like you know, it's like when a guy's name starts with a $. You're like, I don't know am I supposed to pronounce? Is this an S? What is it? So yeah, you know, he was like, I can't just write learn. I gotta write some other letters. You know, it's gotta be cool. And Jing, he reveals himself. There's double damage on our Tusk. Is it gonna be enough?
Yeah, nice little toss back there from the Marcy, making plenty of space for the Visage. Is it going to be enough though? No is the answer, but in comes the rest of Polaris. Maybe they can get some sort of retaliation kill. I mean, Miracle Actually manages to get himself back to the tier 1 tower, and it does not look like the Radiant side want to keep chase. Probably going to try and transition this into an actual tower push though, seems like they've got so many people nearby.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Or will they? Doesn't look like it. Maybe they just want to try and poke for more kills.
Dire's top tower
In the air, the Familiar's a bot is still alive, trying to get as much information as possible, but it looks like the call is there for Polaris to back on out, go back to their normal farming lanes.
Yeah, the double damage ruining excellent. It's gone. He's gonna go for. He has the Falcon Blade, but he wants to go for more damage. And Crystal Maiden doing Crystal Maiden things right now. I mean,
And that's just
I know you have to play. Yeah, she is the poor thing, right? That's the job of the hero. It feels like. I love when the people are like, "Oh, Crystal Maiden, that's a good beginner hero. She's got 2 damage abilities. She's got Mono Rage." I'm like, no, she's not a beginner hero. Only unless beginners like to die a lot.
But,
That's
I mean, maybe that's the point. Maybe it's like getting the mentality of Dota, like, you're probably going to die a lot, so don't let it get to you. So just practice with Crystal Maiden dying all the time, and then you'll be immune to tilt forever.
I mean, I think you underestimate just how bored new players can be. CML, like I tried to get some of my friends into done. They're like, dude, I'm having no fun. I'm just running back to base every second. I'm like, yes, that's how it starts. Don't worry. After 300 games, I swear it'll be the best game ever. Just give it 300 games more.
Yeah, just dedicate a small portion of your life, and you will find this game amazing. That's all it takes. Hey, I think it's a worthy sacrifice, you know. I'd offer that up.
Radiant should look to their bottom tower.
It is for sure. I definitely offer someone else's time. Miracle, he cleared out the stacks, by the way, thanks to the Empower. He's gonna go straight for the Blink Dagger. So no Battle Fury. I mean, obviously, you don't really need it since you have Empower on you, but yeah, he's like just really gonna be relying a lot on his friend, on Zeal, to show up and just empower him from time to time. Zeal is gonna go for the Lotus Orb. You remove what? The Searing Chains, you remove the Slow from the Fire Spirits, and of course you can reflect a bunch of spells as well. It's alright. It's not the worst. I wonder how Dispose works when you on someone who's been Lotus Orbed.
Oh yeah. I guess you would get tossed back, but then at the same time you toss them back, so you'd like switch places, I guess. I don't even know.
Like a
Polaris, who are moving into the enemy jungle right now. They do get the whack on towards the Phoenix. They can't even get the ult off. Both the supports of Polaris already gone, and the core just has to get himself out of there. Familiars, I think Bok managed to resummon them before they actually got killed, so no bounty there, but regardless, unsuccessful gank from Polaris. And just more space now for Myth Avenue to work with.
Not quite what we saw in Game 1, right? Where it was this very active Akashi on the Mars team who's making space. This game he's playing the Morphling, right? Like he's keeping ahead in farm, but it's it's not the same. It's not what we saw in Game 1 where it was just such a nuisance for the enemy side. This time, Polaris, they're getting pushed in a little bit here. Myth Avenue Gaming, we haven't even seen an RP yet. This has just been their pick-off potential. Going in, lift or a frostbite. That's all they need. Thanks to the on Miracle's Ursa, who just does so much damage. He has an overcorrosion. He's gonna go for Basher after.
Yeah. I mean, like you were saying about the Magnus, it could be like a sort of Enigma situation where the threat of the black hole at this stage is more powerful than the skill itself. So it could be doing the same sort of thing with the actual RP. But they are going for this 5-man smoke. Moves into the triangle, not a single soul available though to claim. And see which direction they're going to go. I think they're actually just pinging out the tier 1. They might just try and go for an actual tower push rather than looking for a kill. Or if anyone steps out, and that looks like it will be a Kashi.
Attribute shift, baby. And Kishka goes straight for the full straight. He's got 4 agility. I wonder if he's going to keep the 4 agility. He's like, guys, I want to keep some armor.
Yeah, I got to get a couple of points. But I mean, regardless, 18.5, 100 HP for a Rubik at 15 minutes in. Man feels like an actual tank. But first Roshan claims into the hands of the Ursabet. He's going to feel pretty good. But actually, Polaris, maybe just sort of harassing the backlines. Miracle jumping in very aggressively, focused on towards the Phoenix, forced them to dive one out in the backlines though. Jing trying to take down the enemy support of the Crystal Maiden, frozen in place. It looks like they will just offer her up. Take the Maiden, let us live. And that is going to be the choice there for Polaris.
I love what Kishka's buying, by the way. Not only does he, because he's going full Agi, he recognizes, okay, I'm going to have some armor issues. So I'm going to go for the Guardian Greaves, which is a great item to give him a little bit of extra armor, especially when he goes low health. So I mean, he had the make from before. It's this amazing foresight where he's like, okay, I'm going to go low armor. What's a good item that gives me armor? It's the Guardian Greaves. I already have Arcane Boots. I'll just go for it. It's not the typical Rubik item build, but like amazing adjustment for that.
Yeah.
Zeal, he's
Bottom tower is no more.
And so often that is the case, isn't it? I mean, obviously there's a lot of items that work with heroes, but if you're just buying the same items every single game, you're not adjusting to what you actually need. So it's there. Definitely a heads-up plan there from Kishka to go for this one instead. Yeah, just turn him into basically another tank for the team. Just have infinite beefy boys running around, and just makes it so difficult for Polaris to actually get any kills in the fights. It will just be the Maiden dying again and again and again. Oh, but this time was the Tusk.
Yeah, he would try to push out bottom by himself, and he get caught by Jing and Mac, and no BKB, no Blink Dagger, no chance of making it out. I'm not a big fan of the Disso on Tusk, not because I think it's a bad item on the hero. I think it's actually a really good item, but the problem is that when you get it early on, this like kind of might want the BKB instead to sort of run around the map. You get the Disso, you're not landing those hits, which you're not always going to do. It's a bit of risky play. You have enough damage with the Tusk that you don't really need a Disso. But when you're cosplaying One Punch Man, it is the best item to go for.
Yeah. Does feel nice just to like one-hit somebody or put them down to at least like hardly any HP at all.
Is under attack.
Very, very scary to go up against, especially for the supports. And it looks like Myth Avenue now going to start shoving onto this tier 1 tower. Actually, Blink Dagger aggressive there for Miracle, trying to find people hiding in the trees. There is good to see Mac, but he's still got those remnants to disengage. And Siren Train's stolen away there for Kishka. See what he's able to do with that skill. And Polaris bringing more people to the party. So full 10 people in this mid, but actually, say that, and Myth Avenue immediately disperse in 3 different directions to go back to farming. I suppose just forcing all those rotations from Polaris is a victory in itself. Like, you take them away from farming, and then they can go back to actually start getting a CS increase and just upset the balance of net worth in the game.
Tower is under attack.
Which makes me think. Let's say that we go for another 20 minutes. Which team comes out victorious here? Oh, poor Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, I mean, Miracle maybe trying to bait him out right now. Gets one more freeze off. A slight fist will put the end to it, but never mind. The rest of the team holding it back. He's stuck in place.
Basher.
Here's all they need. They get the kill. RP in the backline as well. Does land onto CML. And that is 2 easy peasy kill pickoffs there for Myth Avenue. 2k gold advantage. Still got 1 minute and 40 seconds left off this Aegis, so I'm sure this will be the mid-tier 1 tower going down. And talking about going down, Jing is about to do that. Double kill there for the Tusk. Tier 1 tower going to drop. Just fantastic turn of events there for Myth Avenue. I think that just bumped up their net worth lead by like 2,000 gold.
Tower is under attack.
And what Miracle's doing, I think very active on the team. He's got this early bash. I don't think he actually had in that fight. I think it was just delivered to him right as the fight, after they killed Ember Spirit. So I thought it was a bash because I saw it coming, but I was like, no, it wasn't. But either way, like, this is not the same as we saw in game 1, right? Miracle had the fantastic laning phase. Box the one suffering, and it's the Visage. Oh, gosh, he wants to get something.
Very aggressively, still trying to go for the Crystal Maiden, but she's just surviving again and again. Looks like we can't say the same for Kishka though. He will get left behind. Actually, does manage to tank up. The mechanism and the stick charge is doing work. You know, eventually he can't actually survive, but he wasted as much time as he possibly could.
Crystal Maiden went for the infused raindrops, right? We said this item is really good. And oh, Jing, another really
Jing, very aggressive there. Miracle's jumping in. There is going to be the egg, but it looks like Myth Avenue, yeah, they could just disengage, completely disregard that. Oh, nice shards. Blocking in box. Did he want to try Karen going in right now? Miracle still has the Aegis, obviously, so he doesn't really care if he dies. Going to need some rotations, though, from the rest of the team to try and back him up. And it's going to be the first stun. Knocked him in place, but yeah, he just disengages. No further casualties right now, but it looks like maybe Polaris going to try and do some damage to the tier 1 tower, but now in comes the Rubik's World, jump forwards, they've got the stun, the bash, locking in the Morphling for as long as possible. He's going to be able to disengage now. In comes Polaris. Can they start taking down some heroes? The Tusk survives, but not for long. He will drop. It looks like maybe the Crystal Maiden taking a lot of damage from afar. Not him heal, but another heal from the mechanism, keeping him up. Can't survive that. RP's still available. Can they get a good opportunity to use it? Zeal's not going to find the opportunity to fly on in and get that grab. And the call is from Myth Avenue to just disengage. They are done fighting. Left in a 3 versus 5 situation. And there is a catapult here in the mid lane, so Polaris can definitely do some damage to the tier 1. But it looks like they're not interested in doing that.
I mean, Zeal shows up, but his cooldown on the ultimate was like about 18 seconds when he showed up. And he's like, he wants to join, he wants to fight. You want to blink in his school when you have RP so like super close to being ready, so that might have been a bigger opportunity. But in the end, Avenue Gaming, I think they lose their supports. not the biggest deal, but it's fine. I mean, the thing I was thinking about is like, let's say we go 40 minutes. Which team takes it? Polaris, you got the late game Morphling and an Ember that is relatively hard to catch. I mean, you're up against Rubik Crystal Maiden. And of course, you got the Phoenix, who's easily the strongest, one of the strongest supports late game. For Myth Avenue, you have the Ursa, who scales, and the RP, but the other three, not the best late game heroes. At least Rubik usually is pretty good late game, but this game got not much to steal. We know that Tusk tends to fall off. So far, he's doing fantastic farming, but he does fall off. Same thing with the Crystal Mage. She's always going to be a squishy hero, and she becomes easier to kill as the game drags on and on.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And it's still like the net worths as well between the two position ones are quite neck and neck right now. There's literally only 400 gold separating the two of them. Akashi's next item is going to be the Eye of Skadi. He's about 1500 gold away, and then he'll have that one completed. Meanwhile, the Ursa building into his own BKB, again, just about 1000-ish gold away, and that one will also be up. So, going to be relatively similar item timings there from both teams, and then we could see another little 5 versus 5 clash of all of these new item pickups. And then I think the outcome of that fight will start really telling the pace of how this game's going to go.
Mm. And Roshan is also going to be maybe coming up fairly soon, right? 50 seconds to about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So the teams will, we're going to start seeing them set up around it. We already have a nice ward coming out from Polaris next to the Roche pit, so they want to make sure they know what's going on, unless of course Mitabu smokes into it. But the two teams, Roche, it's RP versus Phoenix Egg, right? Phoenix Egg and Freezing Field, actually. Like, you got be decent things from both teams. Ember Spirit needs to just fly a fist. So I don't think that, like, trying to smoke it is very risky. Then another team can show up, but if one team gets to pick off, they'll be like, yeah, let's just go quick. Both teams can really take it. It's Morphling and Ursa. Favoring the Ursa, of course, but Morphling is also no slouch in the damage department.
Yeah, it's an absolute menacing item to get. Whoever does find it. Yeah, both those items very, very close now to being completed. Both teams just sort of keeping back, finding what farm they can until they're up. Roshan, 30 seconds away, so it's actually a relatively quick respawn time in the grand scheme of things. It's not, yeah, I think until there's a pick-off though, neither team is going to attempt to go for Roche unless they see that the other side is on the complete opposite side of the map. So it's going to be sat there for a while. And whoever will win the fight will probably claim the Aegis as that little extra bonus reward.
Because the outposts for the Dire are available and the tier 1 top for the Radiant, so they have that lovely access point to it. So again, it's like not only like, even if the enemy team shows up on the other side of the map, they have ways of getting to the Roshan fairly quickly. And mid lane, Mac, it's like they want it. Do they want it? They're smoked up. Very risky to jump on the Ember Spirit. He can dodge an RP if he's fast enough.
It is, yeah. It looks like they're going to move into the triangle right now. The same as the smoke move as well from Polaris. They're going to head straight into each other. The breaks their seal, jump forwards, RP. He does actually cancel it, so it's not been wasted just yet. But it doesn't matter. Polaris is going to chase after him, try and bring him down. Forced after for safety. Miracle into the backlines, focuses straight on towards the Phoenix. Forced him to dive away. It's an egg, but it's miles away from the fight. It's been completely wasted right now. Myth Avenue can be very happy with that. Miracle just BKB teaming away. The land from Xing connects onto 3 people. Immediately take down the Crystal Maiden. Zeal's going to be short to follow, surely. He might be able to get the return kill on towards the Marcy, but it doesn't matter. Myth Avenue are getting shredded apart in this fight. Going to be able to get the +1 onto the Tusk here. He's getting low, but with BKB, he's going to do his best to just walk away. But Polaris, they're actually just chasing him after right now. Miracle's into the backlines, jumps away, gets the bash straight away on towards the Morphlin, and they burst him. He was on Agimorph, gets eviscerated, and now though, at least Polaris is going to be able to potentially turn this all around. The Tusk is dead, and Miracle surely going to follow him. He's going to do his best to kill Mac, but not quite enough.
Look at that, Crystal Mage, she's like, guys, I lived. That's all that, but huge freezing field.
You get Max getting low, but able to get himself out of the distance of it. And that is a full 5-man wipe. 6 people dead there for Myth Avenue, technically. And all they lose for it was their Morphlim. Oh, and Jing. Did Jing die?
Sorry?
Did Jing die as well? I think he did.
I think, yeah, he did. After the jump, he died because, I mean, after you make a 3-man rebound like that, it's like, come on, guys, I gotta give you a free because I'm too good. I'm too good to do that and survive. Like, that's a bit too much. Polaris, they also go for Roshan, but it's just Bach and his buddies. That is not the fastest Roche lineup here. And Akashi's here. With Avenue, though, they smell there's showing up here. TP coming out from Zeal, but he has been disrupted by Mac.
So already down to like half HP right now, and yeah, it looks like Polaris are going to be able to claim this one. Zeal is so desperate to maybe get like a Blink Dagger in, but he gets cancelled out. Miracle, though, on top of the Ember Spirit. Zeal taking a hell of a beat here, but the Soul Assumption chasing him to the grave. Will find the finishing touch. Looks like the Tuskens are dangerous. Well, the stolen shards locking him in place. No way to get himself out. And now it looks like the rest of Myth Avenue stepping out of position. The Crystal Maiden's already dead. Kishka retreating into the trees, but it doesn't matter. They got the flyer vision. They see exactly where he is. And he is brought down again. Another fantastic win from Polaris with the Aegis on top. Oh, Miracle actually was able to find Mac there at least. So it's a small consolation prize for Myth Avenue, but I still don't think that's going to be enough to completely change this game around whatsoever.
I got because maybe you know the dementia setting in my old age. But have we actually seen an RP, like an actual RP? I think I think we've seen. I think he threw out one because I remember one time it was on cooldown. But have we other than that have we seen? Like, do we see an RP in this game?
I don't think we actually have, in all honesty. Like, we saw nearly one in the triangle, but he cancelled it before it actually came off. But yeah, he's just, I guess, not been finding the opportunity to actually land a decent one. But I suppose sometimes, you know, if you're always looking for like a 2, 3, 4-man RP, it's just going to sit there on you. Sometimes it is just best to use it on a single hero, lock them down, and just get that hero advantage straight away. But they are now going for a 5-man smoke. Despite the fact that they're going up against an Aegis, they still have all of these spells to use. Who is it that they're going to find? I think they just caught the glimpse of the familiars there of Bok. But with the tier 1 tower still standing, it's a dangerous place to just dive into there. And yeah, Myth Avenue just going to go back to hitting creeps.
There's not a decent, a little bit of attack here that Miracle can take, so that's nice for him. He is doing pretty well in terms of network, but the other two cores, I mean, this has always been the problem with Tusk, is that he falls off later on. Here just doesn't farm as well as some of the other heroes, so he's like liable to be, you know, 5th, 6th in net worth. I've even sometimes seen his own supports would overtake him in terms of net worth. It's like, it's rare, but it happens. And you know, Magnus, he's spending a lot of his time making sure that his other cores can farm. So it's all a Miracle. It is Miracle versus the world. The world is very scary right now. It is. It's very 70% water. You know, that's Morphling territory.
Yeah, that definitely is. It's a very scary thing to be going up against right now, especially with Mac closing into completing his Aghanim Scepter, and then that's just going to be even more maneuverability for him. It's going to be a very, very slippery customer indeed. Morphling, I think has he just finished Satanic as well? He's got point boost and a Morbid Mask in his backpack.
Yeah, I think he's going for Aghanim Scepter actually.
I guess the Morbid was just like an early item just to get the extra lifesteal. Not going to change anything yet.
If you can transform to the Tusk, you get what, 25, what is it, 40 status resistance. That's pretty massive. So that's a pretty good one. We've seen him do well with it. Oh, BB.
Going to be able to get himself out. Very dangerous though. And the tier 2 tower still falls. Myth Avenue though, en masse with a double damage. Maybe thinking about going in, but do decide against it. They got the vision advantage here of this high ground ward. They see Akashi and a few other members of Polaris in the general vicinity. Just jump forward, straight on towards the Morphin. They've got good connection right now, but not enough damage to actually follow up. And now Miracle's into the revolver. RP is there, lands super, drags him away from the Earth, so there's no one to actually do damage now. It doesn't matter, tons coming in from the Crystal Maiden in the backlands, people dropping left, right, and center. The Tusk trying to run himself away, but the BKB ends, and so does his life. He is gone. Miracle trying to hide behind the trees, but it's not going to work. Forced to pop his BKB, but it does absolutely nothing. He is another casualty to fall, and Kishka can only TP away. At least Zeal's going to try and cut some creep waves, but regardless, another fantastic victory there for Polaris.
Custom, this would honestly have not even. I feel like Jing, apart from getting a couple of really good rebounds, it's like, yeah, it's CML. The eggs doesn't even matter if he lands. It's just the team has just been playing well. It's been a lot of it has come out on Mac. You know, who's 10-2. Bok is 10-3, and Akashi. Like the supports feel. I'm not gonna say irrelevant because that's not what I mean, but it's not like it's all on them to do much. Like they're just like, all right, we'll just give you guys a good game, and you're carrying us, and that's what's happening. For Myth Avenue Gaming, it feels like everyone has to do so much. Like even Crystal Maiden just now, she was the one doing so much damage during the RP, but it's not enough. You know, it's like you said, he screwed them away from Miracle. Miracle can't hit. Do you want Crystal Maiden freezing field to be the one to win the fight? It's not.
Yeah,
It's a very tough situation.
Could just be like a little collapse of communication there, which just led to that, which is obviously quite unfortunate there for Myth Avenue. But yeah, the game's it's not over yet. It's only, well, I say only, but 10,000 gold lead at 31 minutes. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's not nice, but it's still something they can recover from. Age is going to time out in 30 seconds, but Mag actually gets soloed from Mac. Oh, Zeal gets soloed from Mac, sorry. Up there at the top. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is slowly pushing in this bot lane. Maybe going to get a free kill onto Kishka as well. They're just controlling up Akashi as much as possible. I can't really threaten the Morphling. Meanwhile, Bok just doing objectives over him and his familiars beating away at the buildings. And still 15 seconds without the Ursa. There should be enough time at least for the Morphling to claim one of these buildings. Probably both.
And even when Magus comes back, he's still gonna have another 30 seconds without the RP. So, but luckily for them, the tier 2s are standing top in mid. So Polaris are not gonna be able to do more structural damage. Still, Myth Avenue Gaming, this game, it's feeling like one of those 1% chance. Like, you know, you're gonna have to do that incredible, at least 3-man RP with the Ursa, destroying them during the meantime. Then you can maybe like sort of come back. Oh, though this is gonna be a nice pickoff.
Nice grab. Can they get him in range of the Crystal Maiden with the freeze? They can, and down he goes. Actually, that was it was the stolen Seer and Chains. Very nicely played for Kishka to get that kill. And it looks like Zeal was attempting to go for like an extra grab there onto somebody in the mid, but couldn't quite find it. But regardless, you know, a hero advantage, no Ember for 60 seconds. Potentially they can get some work done with that. He does have a buyback available though. So there is the possibility he can get involved at a moment's notice. Miracle.
Miracle?
Very aggressive right now. Does manage to fire and block. Telekinesis is going to drag him back in. BKB already active. They're trying to focus down the bitch as much as they can, but he's so damn tanky.
Nice RP.
And there is the 2-man RP into the Nova Storm as well, doing tons of damage. The CML is gone. Akashi trying to get himself out, but the chase is there. The stolen rebound coming out from Kishka again. Just so much work, relentlessly pursuing after the Morphling. He's got to charge up in a second, but he does not survive long enough. A buyback also forced out from the Phoenix. And this is exactly what Myth Avenue wanted to turn this game around. 4 kills just like that. They don't lose anybody. They're going to take a tier 2, maybe high ground as well.
Miracle bit off a little bit more than he can chew in that situation, but he's gonna be fine. I love the rebound when Rubik does it. He like spins his stick around, but that net worth advantage that Polaris had has been cut by more than half, which is absolutely wild. It all came down from that pick off they were able to get on Mac. They were like, oh, let's just keep going. They bring Bok, and then finally Zeal lands the RP we've been waiting for. 2-man RP brings them back. The team is able to kill them. CML then buys back in that situation. Now his Ikabe has been hit. He's still the second most farm support, but not leading like he was. So overall, you look at the graph, it's just a big dive in favor of Myth Avenue.
That's definitely what they wanted in this game. I guess now probably next objective is going to be the next Roche. Could be up in 20 seconds. Only time will tell. And so far Polaris are in the better position for it, but I'm sure Myth Avenue, are going to realize that this is potentially going to be up. Start moving in, setting up those wards. And if they can get that into the hands of the Ursa, they might actually start being in a very, very strong position this game.
Kind of crazy, right? Like I was writing them off. Like,
yeah.
No, I'm bottom rank. You can't see how fast it fell. Oof. They were lucky those other towers are staying. That would have been a mega creep right then. But no, that one fight turns it around. Rubik had the going creeps in the first half of was getting very close to the blink dagger. 5-man smoke for Polaris. It breaks.
Oh, it gets breaks, yeah. The Tusk in the right position there with the Evis Rune kicks Mac into the waiting arms of the Ursa. Can they burst him down? No, they cannot. He manages to disengage. Actually, never mind. They've got the lockdown into the backline still. Mac's getting low, but again, he's able to disengage. There's going to be RP catching him out. Down he goes. Vintage also getting beaten into quite hard. Everyone's sort of having to disperse there from Myth Avenue. Can't quite do it, but Mac's already brought back. Zipping in and out of the fight. The cores are dropping like flies right now. It's just a miracle. He just cannot survive long enough. And Kishka desperately trying to get himself out. But with the Aghanims pick up there from Mac, you cannot escape all of those remnants. and he will be gone. 5-man wipe coming on out from Polaris. Sure, they lost Mac. He was forced to use a buyback, but at the end of the day, that is 100% worth it.
Very interesting thing happened at the very start. Kishka messed up the rebound. I think he was trying to land it on the Ember, but he misclicked. He went like north of him, and that lockdown meant that Mac could move around. They took way longer to bring him down. At which point, Polaris was like, "Yeah, we can take a fight. You know, we've seen what you guys have used up. It could have been just a nice pickoff, right? Kill the Mac, go back, but because you make a little bit of a mistake, it cost them. And now they have you forced to use only their supports to defend their buildings. But it's all right. It's a Crystal Maiden. She's reliable.
Yeah, she could do what? Something. I mean, all the exterior towers, tier 3s are all gone. Buybacks being forced from both the Magnus and Ursa now. But hey, that is going to at least keep their barracks survive, keep them safe. So no Megas today. But Roshan has now respawned. Number 3 on the board with a refresher shard in tow. Who do they even give this refresher shard to? Is it for the Ember Spirit? Just more remnants to fly around?
Phoenix. I think it's Phoenix, right? Like I mean, I like it for the Ember Spirit. I don't think there's anything wrong. Nah, they give it to the Ember Spirit. Boo! Give it to the Phoenix. Double. I mean, this guy is level 19. You know, it's like he's got a good. He can throw a pretty tanky. Oh, here we go.
Jump in. Yeah, they're getting very aggressive right now, trying to focus on towards the Visage, but they can't get the lockdown long enough into the backlines as well. Mac forcing Kishka back right now. He's in a 1 versus 4 situation, but the kick away there from the task, making space. They've completely abandoned their Ursa. He's left alone against 4 people. He's like, where is my team? Nowhere to be seen. He is gone. And still Max in this 1 versus 4 situation, just zipping in and out, causing so much chaos. The Tusk is still there, kicks the Morphling away this time, but he's still stuck between a rock and a hard place. Nice Blink Dagger into the trees. And he does actually manage to evade death, but regardless, it's now a 3 versus 5 situation with Apes and Cheese, Polaris looking to close out this game.
But what does it matter, right? You're not both their damage to the Crystal Maiden, ironically.
Nice little combo there from the Magnus as well as the Tusk, pushing the Ember all the way back to space. He does have the money to get out, but the usage there of the Ghost Scepter, which he just bought. Absolute big brain play come out there from Matt, keeps himself alive. And that will be Myth Avenue Gaming calling GG, and Polaris taking this best of 2 in a clean 2-0. All the points for them.
I was just it looked like, I mean, there were signs of life from Myth Avenue Gaming. I think their drafting game 2 was a little better, but execution-wise, Polaris just. I mean, Jing was getting those three-man rebounds, stuns, which is absolutely wild. Bach had a tough laning phase, but afterwards, it didn't matter. He's still a Visage who can take down buildings, and I will give the MVP. I feel like Mac deserves it, right? Like we saw him in the very last fight, throwing that, like he's got a spirit in everywhere, just refresher throws and spirits everywhere. Well, we deserved the shard in the end, proving that you should always give it to the cores in these situations.
Yeah.
So
it definitely. He was literally in a 1 versus 4 situation, just holding back the entirety of the squad while his whole team just took down the Ursa. It was, yeah, very fantastic stuff. Well played to Polaris. Much deserved victory there. And yeah, so not much else can really be said about that one. I mean, I feel like game number 2 was a bit more even than the first one. But even still, Polaris definitely feeling like just the better team of today.
they punished for their draft. Like the first pick Rubik, then you're up against this lineup where you're like, what exactly is there for me to take that's super good besides the attribute shift? Crystal Maiden, you're very fragile. Learn, yeah, you have the Tusk who can rotate, make space, but couldn't really get as much out of the Tusk. Miracle had a fantastic performance on the Ursa. They made stacks from. He was farmed. He was like he paid back for all the effort. He's like, guys, I'm doing it, but he can't 1 versus 5, and that was what was needed for him in this game. He couldn't do it. It's too much.
Yeah, that is very true. But hey, that is Doa, and that was a very entertaining series. So obviously, that is the first few points as well on the board for Polaris to kick off their tournament showing with. It's a very nice showing for them. Myth Avenue, they're going to have to try a bit harder in future series to try and recover some more points, get themselves into an even standing. But there's plenty of games still to go. There's over like 7 or 8 games per team still to play yet. So plenty of opportunity and room to work with right now. So that is obviously that for this series. The next series will be Neon Esports versus UD Vesuwan, which will be up in about 15 minutes, I do believe. Obviously, this is going to be Neon's 3rd game already, like just playing so much more than anyone else so far. And currently they are 3 for 4. So, looking to keep their showing going, potentially get another 2 points, but UD vs 1, they're going to try their best to make sure that does not happen. So,
There's-
go in
there's-
that series, any favors? Any favorites you're thinking?
I think it's Neon, but again, UD vs 1 is also a pretty strong team. Like I expect it to be similar to this, where it's like, yeah, it looks like it go either way, but Polaris was the more favorite. I expect that to go with as well. Neon will be a little bit more favored than UDV, but if it goes like 2-0 for UDV, I'll be a little bit surprised, but not like, oh my god, who could have seen it coming?
Yeah, very true. Well, we're looking forward to that. Like I was saying, guys, it'll be about 15 minutes wait, so don't go anywhere. More Dota 2 to come. We shall be back.